There is an oil that is better than olive oil, not marginally better, not slightly improved, better in every measurable way. More antioxidants, more stability, more nutrients, more benefits for skin, for cooking, for health. Better by every metric that science can measure. This oil survives 10 years without refrigeration. Olive oil goes rancid within 2 years, often within months once opened. The fats oxidize, the flavor turns bitter, the health benefits disappear, the oil becomes harmful instead of helpful. This oil laughs at time. It was placed in Egyptian tombs 3,000 years ago and remained stable. Archaeologists have found ancient vessels containing oil that had not fully degraded after millennia. No other cooking oil approaches this stability. This oil grows in deserts. Not in the irrigated groves of Mediterranean countries, not in the pampered orchards that require constant water, in deserts, in drought, in conditions so harsh that most plants die within weeks. The tree that produces this oil survives. Where nothing else survives, it grows in sand. It grows in heat. It grows where rainfall is measured in inches per year. It converts wasteland into abundance. This oil was prized by every ancient civilization. The Egyptians used it to preserve mummies. The Greeks used it for perfume and medicine. The Romans used it for cooking and cosmetics. The ancient Indians wrote about it in texts 4,000 years old. For thousands of years, this oil was considered superior to all alternatives. Kings demanded it. Temples stored it. Traders carried it across continents because the profit margins justified any journey, and then it was forgotten. The olive oil industry spent centuries making sure you would never learn about the alternative. They built an empire on Mediterranean groves. They captured culinary culture. They convinced the world that olive oil was the only oil worth using. The superior oil was erased from memory. The tree that grew in deserts was ignored while irrigated olive groves expanded. The stability that outlasted civilizations was replaced by oil that spoiled in months. Today, we are opening the file on the oil that outperforms olive oil by every measure. The fat that survives for decades without preservation. The tree that grows where nothing else will grow, and the industry that buried it because a superior product threatened their monopoly. If this matters to you, subscribe and hit the bell. The file is open. The oil is called moringa oil. It is also known as ben oil or benin oil. The name ben comes from the Arabic word for this tree, and Europeans adopted the name during medieval trade. The oil comes from the seeds of moringa, oleifera, also called the drumstick tree, the horseradish tree, or simply the miracle tree. The tree earned the name miracle because every part of it is useful. The leaves are food. The seeds produce oil. The roots have medicinal properties. The wood provides fuel. Nothing is wasted. The tree grows throughout the tropical and subtropical regions of the world. It is native to the foothills of the Himalayas, but has spread across Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Everywhere it grows, traditional cultures have recognized its value. The tree reaches 30 to 40 feet in height and produces long seed pods that resemble drumsticks, giving the tree one of its common names. Each pod contains 10 to 20 seeds. Each seed contains approximately 40% oil by weight. The oil extracted from these seeds has properties that no other edible oil matches. The stability of moringa oil defies everything we assume about fats. Cooking oils go rancid through a process called oxidation. The fatty acid chains react with oxygen, breaking down into compounds that smell bad, taste worse, and may cause health problems. All oils oxidize eventually. Most oxidize quickly. Moringa oil contains unique compounds that prevent oxidation at a molecular level. The oil is approximately 70% oleic acid, a monounsaturated fat that resists oxidation better than polyunsaturated fats. But oleic acid alone does not explain the extraordinary stability. Moringa oil contains powerful antioxidants, including tocopherols, similar to vitamin E, and unique compounds called moringenine and benzyl isocyanate. These antioxidants sacrifice themselves to protect the oil. They react with oxygen before the fatty acids can be damaged. The concentration of these protective compounds exceeds any other cooking oil. Where olive oil contains modest amounts of antioxidants, moringa oil contains extraordinary amounts. The protection is correspondingly extraordinary. Laboratory studies have documented moringa oil remaining stable for 5 to 10 years under proper storage conditions. This is not marketing. This is measurement. The oil simply does not degrade on normal timescales. This stability is why the ancient Egyptians chose moringa oil for mummies. The preservation of bodies required materials that would not decompose. The embalmers needed oils and resins that would remain stable for eternity. They tested materials over generations, selecting only those that proved permanent. They chose moringa oil. Vessels of moringa oil have been recovered from tombs dating back 3,000 years. While the oil had eventually degraded over such extreme timescales, it had outlasted every other organic material in the tombs. The stability that seemed miraculous 3,000 years ago has now been explained by chemistry. The nutritional profile of moringa oil exceeds olive oil in most measures. The vitamin E content of moringa oil is approximately twice that of olive oil. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that protects cells from damage. Higher vitamin E means better protection. The oleic acid content of moringa oil at 70% matches or exceeds olive oil. Oleic acid is the monounsaturated fat responsible for many of olive oil's health benefits. Moringa oil provides the same benefits. The behenic acid content is unique to moringa oil. This long-chain saturated fat, which gives ben oil its name, provides additional stability and has demonstrated anti-inflammatory properties in research studies. The phytosterol content of moringa oil helps block cholesterol absorption in the digestive system. These plant compounds mimic cholesterol structurally and compete for absorption. Higher phytosterol intake is associated with lower blood cholesterol levels. The cooking properties rival or exceed olive oil. The smoke point of moringa oil is approximately 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This exceeds extra virgin olive oil, which begins to smoke around 375 degrees. Higher smoke points allow cooking at higher temperatures without producing harmful compounds. The neutral flavor of moringa oil allows it to be used in any cuisine. Olive oil imparts a distinctive taste that works well in Mediterranean cooking but can clash with other flavor profiles. Moringa oil contributes no competing flavors. The stability during cooking exceeds other oils dramatically. The same compounds that prevent oxidation during storage prevent oxidation during heating. The oil can be reused more times than other cooking oils because it resists degradation. The cosmetic applications of moringa oil are equally impressive. The ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans used moringa oil as a base for perfumes. The oil's stability meant that fragrances added to it remained consistent for years. Perfumers could create products that did not change over time. The moisturizing properties come from the oleic acid content. Oleic acid penetrates skin easily and provides deep hydration without greasy residue. The oil is absorbed rather than sitting on the surface. The antioxidant properties protect skin from environmental damage. Free radicals from sun exposure and pollution accelerate aging. The antioxidants in moringa oil neutralize these free radicals before they can damage skin cells. The antimicrobial properties help prevent skin infections. Compounds in moringa oil inhibit bacteria and fungi that cause acne, rashes, and other skin conditions. The oil cleans while it moisturizes. Traditional cultures from India to Africa have used moringa oil for skin conditions for thousands of years. Modern cosmetic science has confirmed what traditional knowledge always understood. This oil works. The tree that produces this oil grows where other crops fail. Moringa oleifera is among the most drought-tolerant trees cultivated by humans. It survives on as little as 10 inches of rainfall per year. It tolerates extended dry periods by dropping leaves and entering dormancy. The tree grows rapidly when water is available. Growth rates of 15 to 20 feet in the first year have been documented. The fast growth allows quick establishment and early production. A tree planted this year produces seeds next year. The tree tolerates poor soil. It grows in sand. It grows in clay. It grows in soil too depleted for other crops. The deep taproot accesses water and nutrients that shallow-rooted plants cannot reach. The tree actually improves soil over time. The leaves that drop decompose into nutrients. The roots fix nitrogen in some conditions. A field planted with moringa becomes more fertile rather than less. These characteristics make moringa ideal for arid regions where agriculture struggles. The Sahel region of Africa, the deserts of India and Pakistan, the dry zones of Central America all support moringa cultivation. The tree provides food, oil, and income where little else will grow. The humanitarian potential is enormous. Millions of people live in regions too dry for conventional agriculture. They import food at prices they cannot afford. They suffer malnutrition because local production is impossible. Moringa changes this equation. The tree provides nutrition from its leaves. It provides oil from its seeds. It provides income from products that can be sold. It provides all of this without irrigation, without fertilizer, without the inputs that make conventional agriculture expensive. Organizations working on food security have recognized moringa's potential. Trees have been planted across Africa and Asia. The expansion continues as more communities discover what the tree can provide. The history of moringa oil's disappearance reveals commercial suppression rather than natural obsolescence. Moringa oil was well known in Europe during the medieval period. The oil was imported from India and Africa. It was used for cosmetics, for lubrication, for cooking. The trade was profitable enough to support long-distance commerce. The rise of olive oil displaced moringa oil through economic and political mechanisms rather than quality. Olive oil was produced in Mediterranean countries that dominated European trade. The producers were European. The supply chains were short. The political connections were strong. Moringa oil was produced in colonies and trading posts far from Europe. The producers were not European. The supply chains were long and vulnerable. The political connections were weak. As European nations developed their agricultural sectors, they promoted domestic products over imports. Tariffs made moringa oil expensive. Subsidies made olive oil cheap. The market tilted toward the local product regardless of quality. The nutritional science of the 20th century reinforced olive oil's dominance. The Mediterranean diet was studied and promoted starting in the 1950s. Researchers documented that populations consuming olive oil had lower rates of heart disease. The association between olive oil and health became established in scientific literature. This research was valid. Olive oil does provide health benefits. The monounsaturated fats do support cardiovascular health. But the research did not compare olive oil to moringa oil. It compared Mediterranean diets to American and Northern European diets. The superiority of olive oil over butter and lard was demonstrated. The superiority of olive oil over moringa oil was assumed rather than tested. No major research institution studied moringa oil because no major industry funded such research. The olive oil industry funded research on olive oil. They published findings favorable to their product. They established olive oil as the healthy choice. Moringa oil research happened in developing countries without the resources to promote findings internationally. Studies published in Indian and African journals did not reach Western audiences. The evidence for moringa oil's benefits remained obscure. The marketing of olive oil completed the displacement. Italian and Spanish and Greek olive oil producers built brands. They created images of traditional farms, happy families, ancient traditions. They associated olive oil with culture and sophistication. Moringa oil had no marketing. The tree was associated with poverty, with developing countries, with regions that Americans and Europeans considered backward. The associations were negative rather than positive. Consumers chose based on perception rather than evidence. They chose the product that felt premium rather than the product that performed better. They chose olive oil because marketing told them to choose olive oil. The olive oil industry today generates approximately $15 billion annually. This revenue is protected by the obscurity of alternatives. Every consumer who learns about moringa oil is a potential customer lost. The fraud in the olive oil industry suggests that even producers know their product is inferior. Studies have repeatedly found that olive oil labeled extra virgin is often adulterated or mislabeled. A UC Davis study found that 69% of imported olive oils failed to meet extra virgin standards. The fraud is pervasive. Why would producers adulterate their product if it were truly superior? Why would they risk reputation and legal consequences to dilute something perfect? They adulterate because the economics demand it. The profit margins on genuine extra virgin olive oil are thin. The temptation to cut costs is overwhelming. The product is treated as a commodity rather than a premium. Moringa oil does not face the same fraud pressure. The stability means that quality is preserved throughout the supply chain. The smaller market means that producers focus on quality rather than volume. The customers who seek moringa oil know what they want and will not accept substitutes. The comparison reveals which product the industry actually believes in. Growing moringa for oil production is possible almost anywhere frost-free. The tree requires tropical or subtropical conditions. It cannot tolerate temperatures below approximately 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Within its range, it is remarkably adaptable. Seeds are planted directly, or seedlings are transplanted. The tree establishes quickly, often growing several feet in the first months. The deep taproot develops early, providing drought tolerance that increases with age. First seed production typically occurs in the second year from seed, sometimes in the first year in optimal conditions. Production increases as the tree matures. Peak production arrives by year 5 and continues for decades. The seeds are harvested when the pods mature and begin to dry. The pods are opened and seeds are removed. Processing can be as simple as sun-drying, followed by pressing. Cold pressing preserves the maximum nutritional content. The seeds are crushed without adding heat. The oil that flows out is pure and unrefined. Small-scale presses, costing a few $100s, can process sufficient seeds for family use. The yield is approximately 35 to 40% oil by weight of seeds. A mature tree produces 20 to 40 pounds of seeds per year. This translates to roughly 7 to 15 pounds of oil per tree annually. A small grove of 10 to 20 trees provides complete cooking oil self-sufficiency for a family. The trees also provide leaves for food, dramatically increasing the value of the planting. The economics favor moringa over purchasing olive oil. Quality extra virgin olive oil costs $20 to $50 per liter at retail. A family using 2 liters per month spends $480 to $1,200 per year on olive oil alone. A moringa tree costs $5 to $15 as a seedling, or can be grown from seed for pennies. The tree produces for 30 to 50 years. The lifetime cost of establishing a grove is under $200. The oil produced is superior to the oil purchased. The freshness is guaranteed. The purity is certain. The supply is controlled by the family rather than by international commodity markets. The comparison is not close. Moringa oil provides better product at lower cost with complete independence from supply chains. The only disadvantage is climate limitation for growers outside tropical and subtropical regions. The culinary applications span every cuisine. Salad dressings benefit from moringa oil's neutral flavor. The oil carries the flavors of herbs and acids without competing. The stability means dressings last longer in the refrigerator. Sautéing works perfectly with moringa oil's high smoke point. Vegetables can be cooked at proper temperatures without burning the oil. The food absorbs less oil because the high heat sears surfaces quickly. Deep frying is where moringa oil stability provides maximum advantage. The oil can be filtered and reused many times without degradation. Commercial fryers using moringa oil replace their oil far less frequently than those using other oils. Baking benefits from the neutral flavor. Olive oil imparts taste that works in some baked goods, but not others. Moringa oil works in any recipe requiring oil. Finishing drizzles showcase the subtle sweetness of high-quality, cold-pressed moringa oil. A drizzle over hummus or vegetables adds richness without overpowering other flavors. The cosmetic applications provide additional value from the same product. A bottle of moringa oil serves double duty. Use it for cooking most days. Use it for skin and hair as needed. The same quality that makes it good for eating makes it good for applying topically. Facial moisturizing requires only a few drops. The oil absorbs quickly. Apply at night and wake with softer skin. The antioxidants work while you sleep. Hair treatment uses more oil but provides dramatic results. Work the oil through hair, focusing on ends. Leave for 30 minutes or overnight. Shampoo and condition normally. Hair becomes stronger and more lustrous. Massage oil provides smooth glide without staining sheets. The absorption is slow enough for extended massage, but complete enough to avoid residue. Traditional Ayurvedic massage has used moringa oil for thousands of years. Lip balm forms naturally when moringa oil is applied to lips. The moisturizing action persists for hours. No additional ingredients are required. The revival of moringa oil is underway. Health food stores increasingly stock moringa oil. Online retailers offer it from multiple producers. The availability has increased dramatically in the past decade. Prices remain high due to limited production and long supply chains. A liter of quality moringa oil costs $30 to $60, comparable to premium olive oil. As production scales, prices will fall. The cosmetic industry has discovered moringa oil. High-end skincare lines feature it as a key ingredient. This demand is driving production increases that will eventually benefit the food market. Developing countries are expanding moringa cultivation. India, the largest producer, is planting more acreage annually. African nations are developing moringa industries for both domestic use and export. The tree that grows in deserts is becoming a crop for the desert regions that need it most. The oil that was forgotten is being remembered by communities that can use it. The olive oil industry cannot stop this revival. They can continue marketing. They can continue promoting Mediterranean diet studies. They can continue building their brand. They cannot change the chemistry. They cannot make olive oil more stable than moringa oil. They cannot make olive oil more nutritious than moringa oil. They cannot make olive oil grow in deserts. The facts favor moringa. The economics favor moringa. The climate resilience favors moringa. The stability favors moringa. All the olive oil industry has is mindshare. They have captured the belief that olive oil is the best oil. They have captured culinary culture. They have captured the default choice. Mindshare can be changed. Beliefs can be updated. Cultures can evolve. Defaults can shift. Every person who learns about moringa oil is a person who might try it. Every person who tries it is a person who might prefer it. Every person who prefers it is a person lost to olive oil forever. You now know what the industry did not want you to know. You know that moringa oil outperforms olive oil by scientific measures. You know that it survives for years without refrigeration. You know that it grows in deserts where olive trees would die. You know that ancient civilizations prized this oil above alternatives. You know that it was displaced by economics and marketing rather than by quality. You know that the forgotten oil is being remembered. You know that you can grow it yourself if you live in an appropriate climate. You know that you can buy it if you do not. You know that the choice exists even though the industry preferred you remained ignorant. The oil that is better than olive oil is waiting. It is waiting in bottles at health food stores. It is waiting in seeds that can be planted. It is waiting in a future where the best oil wins regardless of marketing budgets. The olive oil industry had centuries to make you forget. You remembered anyway. If this video helped you, subscribe and hit the bell. Every share drips what they wanted dried up. The next video opens soon.